Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So tonight, I want to talk about a few specific altcoins, big news, especially with Polygon. There's just a lot of things going on with Polygon. So I'm going to talk about Polygon, go talk about Tezos. There's actually a huge announcement for Tezos. Also Shiba, for those of you guys that are Shiba fans. And Enjin. And of course, I'm going to talk about Bitcoin as well. So, thanks for tuning in. As always, smash up the like, subscribe to the channel. 2 streams almost every day, 11:30 and 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Make sure you hit that notification bell and follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and check out all the latest news, article, and guides at CryptosRUs.com. Welcome, guys. Today overall is a quiet night, but there are some things I want to share with you guys that's pretty important, big news. But as always, let's start out with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is a little bit lower than this morning and roughly the same point as last night. You could see that Bitcoin is kind of going sideways once again, but there are always bullish things to talk about when it comes to Bitcoin. And here's one that's indirectly related, and that is the debt ceiling, okay? The debt ceiling for our government has been raised so many times, I can't even remember how many times in 2021. I think this is the third time now, second or third time. And every time the debt ceiling goes up, you know what that means? That means trillions more are going to be printed afterwards. So we're potentially having a couple trillion more of USD being printed in the near future. And I say this affects Bitcoin indirectly because we know that as inflation gets worse and worse and worse, and trust me, it will get worse in 2022. We're already seeing the effects of it in 2021. 2022 is going to get even worse, and people are preparing. They're putting their money into hard assets like Bitcoin, right? So short term, maybe this doesn't have an immediate pump effect, but long term, it's gonna help. It's gonna help hard assets like Bitcoin. So this is being voted on. So I'm almost certain it's gonna pass. Every time there's like a crisis, a debt ceiling, and the government's gonna run out of money, of course, what do? They're gonna vote to raise the ceiling so they can print more money. It always happens. So yeah. So trillions more, that's coming. Just be prepared. But outside of that, what is also very important is this. BTC balance, not only BTC balance, but also Ethereum balance. I don't have a chart for Ethereum, but BTC balance on exchanges continue to drop. It just continues to drop no matter what happens to Bitcoin's price, right? You could clearly see that Bitcoin's price fell down recently from 68,000. Even when Bitcoin fell from 64 down to 30,000, yes, the exchanges did receive a little bit. There was a little bump in Bitcoin, but since then, it has been going down and down and down and down and down. And this correlates with the other metric I showed you guys over the last few days about liquid supply going up. So despite the fact that we have volatility, despite the fact we have some up and downs, what's really happening is Bitcoin is being bought and being stored off the exchanges. That is what's going on. And it's a very, very clear picture that the whales are buying up Bitcoin as much as they can right now. So the balance on exchanges is at a 3-year low, and it looks like it wants to continue. And it's the same way with Ethereum. If you pull up the reserves on the exchanges, they both just keep dropping more and more and more. And here's one. Daily on-chain flow. Here's one where $1 billion worth of Bitcoin outflew from the exchanges within a single day. Now for Ethereum, it did go up slightly, 89 million, but that's, keep in mind, that's for the day. And then you also have Tether. Wow, almost $500 million out. So there are a lot of people that are buying Bitcoin and taking it out of the reserves. And also something else that's relevant to Bitcoin, of course, is the hash rate. And the hash rate is back to its previous high. And it looks like it wants to continue further. So another positive news for Bitcoin is that the miners, they have no interest in selling. They have none. No interest in selling. They're holding everything they have. Again, causing the liquid supply to go up. There's no fresh new Bitcoins being released into the market now because they're just hoarding all of it up. Every single miner is basically holding on to everything that they create or find, I should say, and they're just storing it. So this all adds up, right? So this is why you want to focus on the future. You want to focus on Bitcoin because it's doing just fine. The fundamentals keep getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Now, okay, so that's it for Bitcoin. Now let's talk about some of these altcoins, starting with Polygon. Polygon, you guys have let me scroll here. Where's Polygon now? Yeah, Polygon, you guys know, has been going up quite a lot, okay? Even with this dip, it continues to go up. You can see last 7 day, 22%. That's impressive compared to, say, Avalanche is down 29% during this week. SHIB down 24%. Polkadot down 23%, right? Even Cardano down 13%. Solana down 11%. Bitcoin down 12%, right? So MATIC is bucking the trend right now because there's just a lot of things going on. And there's even more news that was released today. Here's one. Polygon and WanChain join forces and ushers in a new era of interoperability. And this is the very first bridge between two L2s. And what is an L2? A L2 is basically a chain made to scale the underlying chain. And what is the underlying chain? In this case, it's Ethereum, right? But Polygon, I would argue, has become a L1 because there's a lot of dApps, just, they're the homegrown dApps on top of Polygon. They're not just moved over. So regardless, why this is significant is because this one bridge essentially bridges to many, many, many chains. It's not just one chain to one chain. WanChain does have their own bridge, and their bridge connects to many, many other chains, including Binance Smart Chain, including XRP Ledger, including Avalanche, Polkadot, Bitcoin, EOS, and you even have Litecoin and Moonriver. So with this one bridge, now Polygon will soon have access to all these chains. And that's incredible, right? These are the biggest L1s out there. So this one strategic partnership is actually a really, really big deal for Polygon. You may not notice it right away, but the future DeFi projects like the DEXs that are going to come out on Polygon will be able to just pull liquidity from all these chains, and that's going to be fantastic. So this is a pretty big update partnership that came out. Also, other things, I noticed that Coinbase has their own NFT Twitter now, and they're tweeting a lot about their upcoming NFTs, including this one. And it looks like they already have a partnership with Adidas, which is huge, right? But they're starting to tweet a lot about some of these creators and projects. And here's one, Lazy Lions, right? But the big thing is, well, where's this marketplace? Is it going to be on top of Ethereum, or is it going to be on top of Polygon? And my bet is it's going to be on top of Polygon. So this also will be a big thing. There's no way this is launching on Ethereum. Zero chance. It's going to launch on an EVM-compatible chain that's suited to host NFT marketplace. And there's no better EVM-compatible L2 chain than Polygon. So you have that going on. And, of course, this could be announced during the ZK Summit, which is coming up in 2 days. Part of the reason why Polygon keeps going up, a lot of speculation. Vitalik is going to speak. There could be some big announcement between Vitalik and Ethereum and Polygon. So this is also coming up. So this is all adding together, right? Everything is adding together, and it's looking like Polygon is really set to move. And TechDev also made note that, you know what, MATIC in 2021 is very, very similar to Ethereum of 2017. You could see that similarities are uncanny, right? But you're comparing two different chains across 4 years, and sometimes if you're digging hard enough, you'll find a pattern. But if this holds true, right, that means Polygon will continue forward and eventually find some blow off top, and that could place it, who knows, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10. We will see. We will see. So that's Polygon right off the bat. All right, now what's next? Let's talk about Tezos. All right, Ubisoft, one of the biggest game makers out there, is releasing their very first NFT game on Tezos. So every game maker out there now is getting very, very, very excited about this new premise of play to earn games, right? And basically creating an ecosystem, or you could say metaverse, that rewards players for playing. They get to keep their items, right? You get to keep your gun, your weapon, maybe the weapon that you use to win a tournament, right? Maybe you could have a souvenir. You killed someone and you take their gun or their mask from them as a trophy, right? And those will be worth a ton of money. Think about it, right? It just makes a whole lot of sense. So Ubisoft is going to launch the very first game. They're calling it Ubisoft Quartz, right? But the very first game is called Ghost Recon. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of it. Ghost Recon's, this franchise has been out for quite some time. And they will be releasing the beta in 2 days, December 9th. I mean, there's not a whole lot of time, but the beta is coming out December 9th. So this is pretty big for not only Ubisoft, but also Tezos. And Tezos does have a lot of games and NFT stuff on top of the chain too. So pretty big news for Tezos. And if this continues to be successful, right, you're going to see a lot more game makers come onto chains like Tezos or Polygon or many others that's out there. So that's number 2. Pretty big breaking news on CryptosRUs.com. What else is there? What about SHIB? You SHIB fans, what's going on with Shiba? Well, Shiba just got listed as a payment method on Referral. So now you could use your SHIB. You can't say that there's no use cases for SHIB. There is. You could use it for 3 million types of travel products worldwide, destinations, hotels, wherever. So this is pretty big for SHIB as they build out their ecosystem. They're trying to be less and less and less like a meme coin and more and more and more like a L1, right? So they are building on. And there's another one that I couldn't come up, but it does show that Ethereum whales continue to love SHIB. There's more and more results, or I think metrics that show that the ETH whales are just keep buying up SHIB. They just keep buying it up because keep in mind SHIB is a ERC20 token, so it's very easy to use DEXs to keep buying them. So that is also happening, but pretty good news for SHIB, partnered up with Referral. And also, Enjin. Enjin, you guys know, is also NFT/gaming project, but they're trying to launch their L1, right? Which is Infinity, and that is going to launch as a parachain on Polkadot. But they're always expanding, and now they've added a new project called HoloLoot, which is augmented reality NFT platform. So you know what augmented reality, right? Well, at least most of you guys. It's basically real life, but you get to see these models or these virtual items or characters that come out, and this is what it's all about. And of course, this will be launching on Infinity. So this is the very beginning, right? I like Enjin. I support them many, many, many years, and now they're starting to like really define themselves as a go-to player for NFTs, games, metaverses, tokenization. I mean, pretty much anything. So this is also pretty big for them. And, and of course, I think I've mentioned this before, right? metaverses, gaming, NFTs are getting hotter, and this shows that, yeah, not only is it hot among retail investors, but investment firms are also looking into it. And not only investment firms, also brands, which is why you have guys like Adidas that's coming in and building a virtual store inside places like Decentraland and Sandbox and creating NFTs within Coinbase NFT marketplace and so forth, right? So it's still, the whole ecosystem is still really widening. So pretty big, pretty big. Let's see. I know there's a couple of super chats. Before I move on, I don't want to miss it. Mike, new member. Welcome, Michael. Thank you for that. Anything on XLM? No. John, unfortunately, nothing. I haven't heard anything about Stellar recently, but I'm neutral on the project. Outside of that, that's pretty much it. I think the big news, of course, is Polygon. There's just a lot of stuff going on in Polygon. And there's news for several others. Looking at overall market, it's a little bit lower versus this morning, but the important thing is BTC dominance, Bitcoin dominance is still below 40%. And I think that is a pretty good measure because it does show that retail investors are not truly panicking. Of course, there are some that are worried, and the fear is still high. In fact, let me bring that up because this morning was like 25, and now you can see, oh, it went up a little bit. Now it's not extreme fear, but it's still fearful. And this is one of the biggest reasons why the market, I believe, hasn't just done a V-shaped recovery. There's really no reason for that. Equities market is starting to blow up again, and crypto is still very healthy. The fundamentals did not change overnight. So the fear is still there, but it's not true panic. When you have true panic, especially during crypto winters, especially after a blow-off top, you see Bitcoin dominance shoot up to the moon, and that's not what we're seeing, so that's also very positive. All right, that's pretty much it. Outside of that, I do have a sponsor for today, and it's a project I've covered before, but they have many updates they want to share, and some of you guys know of this project, and they are Telos, which is a L1, a fast, scalable, decentralized finance is here with Telos. They are L1. They're built with the EOS code base, but they released their own EVM, which means that, yes, Ethereum-based apps can come aboard in Telos and utilize this EVM, and it's near feeless and much, much faster. So all the problems on top of Ethereum is solved with Telos' EVM. And just to give you an example of how fast they scale, they can handle 10,000 transactions per second. Energy usage is basically none. And when you compare them to Cardano, MATIC, and even Ethereum, it's just more efficient, okay, using Telos. Now, there's a couple big news that came out recently. Number one, they are building partners already on top of the Telos EVM. The very first AMM, the Sushi Swap, you guys know of Sushi Swap, is coming aboard to Telos and going to be offer yield pools for the Telos token. So that's pretty big. And also, they're getting into NFTs. They will be launching Telos Punks. Yes, it's going to be a collection of 10,000, basically CryptoPunk copy, but they will be coming out with their own punks, with their own unique design, but just similar in concept. And that is also coming to Telos EVM. And they already have a site for it, telospunks.com. Here's the testnet. And you could take a look and get your own Telos Punk, which will be released in the near future. So those are our big updates for Telos. If you're interested, check out their URL in the description of this video. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. Now let's do some quick Q&A. A lot of Shiba fans in here. SHIB. Go SHIB. All right. Let's see. Going up. Infinity is the future. I think Infinity for Enjin is going to be a big thing. Enjin has been around the block, and they have a good amount of experience. They have a good treasury. They dedicated 100 million recently to their NFT fund. So I think that's going to carry them very, very far. Let's see. What else is there? BitTorrent. Not a fan of BitTorrent. ADA has a working DEX. Nothing Burger seems Ribble says. Well, yes and no. Yes and no, because it's not completely done. It's still a work in progress, but it does look like Sunday Swap does look like it's operational, but it couldn't handle all the volume. They had to shut down. They're going to reopen, right? They're going to try to fix their bugs. So it's not completely done. But once it is, I think it'll be big. I think it'll be absolutely big. But it's getting there. At least we're seeing some progress right now, right? And let's not forget, after Sunday Swap is done for Cardano and concurrency is solved, there's many other projects that's waiting to launch, and that's going to get them to be where other L1s are with, you know, more DEXs, with metaverses, with NFT marketplaces that all utilize smart contracts. I have not heard of Spin Top. KD and Vet are not recovering. Any thoughts why? No, there's no thoughts. You just have to be patient. Sometimes things take longer to recover. Sometimes they go quicker, right? But as long as you're investing in the right projects, you just need to have patience. Did you know the founder of Travala also founded Hode? No. Deshaun, it seems like you try to shill that project every single day. Bought more SHIB. Anything about Chromia? I mean, Chromia's success will be based on My Neighbor Alice. And I don't know if My Neighbor Alice have really caught on. My Neighbor Alice looks like it has not caught on. But this was a very hyped game built on top of Chromia. Chromia has other things on top of it, not just games. But this was dubbed as the game, the big play to earn game that was going to push them forward, and it just really never caught on. So hopefully Chromia could come out with other dApps that will kind of, get them the traction they need. What is going on with Cadena? Is it still a good project? Yes. Too many of you guys judge a project, right? If it comes down or it's stagnant, you're asking if it's a good project. You're only judging it by price, and that's the problem. You can't judge a project on how good it is just by its current price. So if you're asking a question like that, Mike, that means you don't really understand what they're all about, and you need to get yourself educated. DJ says, smash up that like button. I do agree. Suku, I have no idea. That sounds like a meme coin, so I'm not going to look at that. Muesli Swap is already live on Cardano mainnet. It's an order book style DEX, and it works. Very weird at first, but it's live. Probably because what you just said, order book style DEX, and probably it's a DEX not based on smart contracts. That's the thing. Just like CNFT exists, it's an NFT marketplace on top of Cardano, but it's not utilizing smart contracts. So there's some projects that's running that's not utilizing it, so it's kind of like cheating in a way. So I don't think that's a fully fledged DEX with yield pools that uses smart contracts like what Sunday Swap is trying to do. How many people own SHIB, Doge, and others? I mean, there's a lot of people that own them. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in the billions. Billions and billions and billions. You mentioned once you're on the fence with HBAR. Any more thoughts? No, I'm just on the fence because they're not an open source project. That will never change. That will never change. So they're not. They're called Hedera Hashgraph because Hashgraph was an open source project, and then the founders or something bought it, so they named it Hedera Hashgraph. No one could use it, and that turns off a lot of people. All right. Did I finish the Lego Porsche 911? Actually, no, I didn't. I'm like 75%. I've just been sitting there on the kitchen table or dining room table, and I have not finished it. So I noticed DeFi DEXs have taken a huge beating. Do you think they will pick up the DeFi narrative? They will. It will come back. It will come back. You know, earlier this year, I think most people forgot, DEXs got really hot. Then NFT marketplaces got really hot, really, really hot. And then guess what happened? All that money flew back into DEXs, and DEXs got hot again. But then it seems like the money now outflowed into, say, play-to-earn games. That's why, like, Axie Infinity and others have done really well. But I think it's all like a shift, right? And I think DEXs will get their day again. Money will come back. U.S. just reached a deal, raising debt ceiling by $2 trillion. How do you think it's going to affect the market? Well, I kind of mentioned this. You know, short term, it might not do anything with Bitcoin. Long term, we know that's two more trillion dollars that will be printed and released to Congress, basically. So that's 2 more trillion out of how many trillion that has been printed since last year to this year. So inflation is going to get worse. No matter what Powell tries to do, it's going to get worse, much worse in 2022. That is why people are looking to buy hard assets to protect their wealth, right? And the shiny digital one that everyone is thinking about and looking at is Bitcoin. So indirectly, it's going to help Bitcoin tremendously. Orion Protocol, I think they pretty much lost their luster. I mean, they were a really good terminal that aggregated a lot of liquidity like DEXs, etc. exchanges, but there's a lot of players doing that now. So I don't know if they're going to get their momentum back. Bake, no thoughts on it. DEXs overall, I just kind of answered this. DEXs overall are not doing very well. Bake, Aave, Compound, Uniswap, SushiSwap, none of them are doing well. But I do think there will be a shift later on where money flows back in again. Telcoin, they just lost momentum too. They were very hot earlier this year. I mean, look at that, back in May, they just shot up because they're in the remittance service. They bought a bank. They have a fully fledged bank in Utah, I believe, right? And they're all about remittance. And, you know, I don't know what it is. Ever since they got that bank and we came down, they just never recovered. No thoughts on Everrise. Suku's Infinite World NFT Marketplace. Infinite World? No. Suku? This is a pretty small project. Pretty small project. What is this? I'm assuming they're L1? Transparency and authenticity for physical and digital world. DeFi, NFT, L1, basically all in one. Authenticity for physical and digital world through NFT. Someone asked me about this the other day. I don't know enough about it, but it does seem like they're trying to do basically what VeChain is trying to do. VeChain has business-based NFTs where it's tracking and verifying authenticity of products. So it looks like they're in that same space, but they are also in DeFi, which VeChain is really not. They're not doing any kind of lending or any kind of DeFi. So, okay. Looks okay. I'm going to put that on the maybe pile. Again, I need to do research on them. I don't know about their NFT marketplace. I'm assuming it's just all business NFTs. If most whales in BTC relocated to the US, how will they get around tax implications? If most whales in BTC relocated, why would he ask that? First of all, if they're a whale outside of US, they're not going to come back in because they don't want to pay taxes. And second of all, if you're just asking how to avoid taxes, well, first of all, just don't sell and hold. That's number one. Best strategy number two is you have to have a business and find business deductions. That's really it. You have to form a business. and then you have to find ways to basically lose money, and then it'll offset your crypto gains. Asterisks, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not a CPA, I'm not a tax advisor, so you'll have to get some professional experience, but that's how you do it. There's no other way to do it. Eternal's a scam is down majorly, probably, because I've never heard of that project, and if it's down majorly, I'll take your word for it. It's probably not a good project. Orliv, Two Bridge says, Orliv in Puerto Rico and pay no capital gains taxes. I just saw a clip about that, where there was some news report that was arguing that, yeah, people that do that, they're actually not contributing to Puerto Rico. It's actually making real estate more expensive in Puerto Rico, so that citizens in Puerto Rico are actually getting hurt by this, this clause or this tax loophole. So many people are moving down there, and you know what? They're starting to pay attention, and maybe they're gonna kill that soon. Ubisoft. Okay, I know there's several corporate backers. Do you think it's a good idea to pay attention to that? Not from that perspective. What I just covered was the fact that they're launching their very first game on, where is it? Very first game on Tezos. I think that's more promising to me, is that they're concentrating on games, and they're going to be releasing their games on Tezos. So you're going to get a lot of players that are interested. They're going to be jumping in. They're going to need to buy XTZ to be able to, buy and sell and trade all these gaming items. I think that's pretty big. That's pretty big. Sol, Phantasma. I'm just neutral on them. How can I start a crypto account for my kids? Well, you're just going to have to do it in your name. You can't start an account for them. Not that I know. Axie Infinity has jumped $20 US in a few minutes. No, but I just covered them. Axie Infinity is one of those play to earn games you don't want to skip out on. I mean, they are just really, really, really hot. They get cold, and then they get hot. They get cold, they get hot. And they also do have land sales as well. And a ton of people are just playing it and making a whole bunch of money with it. Ethereum name service. They're basically an unstoppable domains competitor, but they concentrate on Ethereum-based domain names, right? So it's a top-level name, really concentrating for Ethereum. Unstoppable domains is the same, but they moved off Ethereum to save on fees. They're actually on Polygon. But they have like .crypto, .zil, other things. Other top-level domain names that ENS doesn't have. But UD doesn't have a token. That's the thing. So I think both projects will be around for a long time. But ENS does have a token. When they got released, too hyped up. That's the thing. They shot up too high. What's all the hype around DAOs? Is this the next narrative? No, DAOs has been around for a while. DAO, just think about it. It's just the organization, right, that's meant to invest in other projects. Think of them almost as like, it's almost like a VC, but VC / charity, because they're investing in projects that need the money that's going to help that ecosystem. So they're like better words, like they're like angel investor for crypto. I think that's the best way to do it, to think about it. Harmony has just passed 5.3 million transactions. That's a lot. I don't think people realize how much that is. That's like 4 times Ethereum, because Ethereum can't get past like 1.8 million transactions per day. That's actually a good amount. All right, guys, I'm going to let you guys go. Overall, things are still recovery mode. But you have some big news with Polygon, with Tezos, with Enjin. I mean, there's a lot of promising news for these projects, and that is why you want to continue to hodl. You want to continue doing your research and look into these promising altcoins, because there's a lot of things going on within them. All right, guys, smash the like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right? Have a good one, guys. Good night. Bye-bye.